What video game has the best music? You get $100 per person you annoy. What is the fastest way you can become a millionaire? Your life is now a book. What is its title? Don't read this book, that's the title. The Very Bitter Caterpillar. Who knows? Who cares? Why bother? That's actually a pretty good title for a book. I hope you learned from this. I didn't. Well, that was awkward. And 500 more short horror stories. Often wrong, never in doubt. Oops, I broke another glass. That has to happen a lot in your life for that to be your book title. Mine would be The Cold Side of the Pillow. Are you implying you're the cool side of the pillow, or you sleep on it often? I don't get it. Rock Bottom, How to Get Down and Stay Down, a series of uninteresting events. Life of Psy. Alright y'all, we don't need to parody other book titles, you know? How I Became a Book. I feel like the last chapter is probably very underwhelming. Pretending Everything is Okay for Dummies. Now that's a book I'd read. What do we need to stop teaching children? To not question things or think critically. The amount of times I've seen people just shut down their kids for asking a question is wild. It's no wonder there are so many stupid people out there when they were taught from a young age that asking questions is a bad thing. If that doesn't sound like 1984, I don't know what does. That because they are kids, their feelings don't matter. What kind of psychos are telling kids this? That adults, or anyone older than them, are always right, no matter the situation. More often than not, the adults are wrong. He is mean to you because he likes you. I don't know how we ever made that like a common belief, that your self-worth isn't all about just your achievements. Wait, we shouldn't tell kids that? Or hang on. Cutesy names for body parts. If a little girl tells somebody that a man touched her flower, she won't get the help she needs. That they can scream and throw tantrums to get what they want. The number of parents who give in to that noise and enable them to become monsters addicted to tablets is ridiculous. That their words and actions do not have consequences, and that mommy and daddy will always clean up their messes. When they're really young, I think it's fine to have that happen, but you gotta learn how to teach them that that is not how the world works. To always listen to and obey adults. This is terrible advice because some adults are predators or kidnappers. Plus, it teaches children to blindly obey even if it's wrong. That you need to hug/kiss someone when you see them or are leaving, and that includes family. If you don't want to kiss, that's fine. Say goodbye in your own polite way. What can you teach in 1 minute that will be useful until the rest of life? You can use the bottom of a coffee mug to put the edge back on a dull kitchen knife. The unglazed ceramic ring is harder than metal and acts as a sharpening stone. Just run the knife over it at 15 to 20 degree angle about 10 times each side and try slicing that tomato again. You'll notice a big difference. Okay, that's huge if true, because then I can actually sharpen my knives. When calculating percentages, the factors are interchangeable. This means that 50% of 14 is the same as 14% of 50, which can make it quite a lot easier to calculate in your head sometimes. If you have some fruits that aren't quite ripe yet, place them in a bag and put a banana in with them. The ripening banana will release a gas that speeds up the ripening process of other fruits. A wise person said, never look down on someone unless you are extending your hand to help them get back in their feet. Oh, that's actually pretty nice. I like that. Heimlich. Apparently an alarming amount of people don't know what to do when someone is choking. My dad had to run clear across a fairly busy restaurant once to save someone's kid because nobody else was doing anything. The mom was screaming for help. Everyone was aware, but apparently nobody knew what to do about it. I mean, shout out to your dad for making that hustle. Basic knots. Super easy skill to learn, and it will never stop being useful. Careful who you teach those knots to. Getting comfortable with saying no and sorry, that's not my problem, and being polite but firm about it. I'm still working on that. Never ever be too ashamed to say you don't understand. Never pretend to understand, and when you're in that situation, be humble and bold enough to admit it and ask questions. Make it a habit and you will improve consistently. How to inform other drivers of your intention through the use of your turn signal. I honestly thought car manufacturers just stopped putting them in cars because nobody uses it. How to cook rice. It's honestly pretty simple. The biggest thing I learned was you need to wash your rice. Always wash your rice. Emotional regulation can be visualized as colors. Stop thinking about specific emotions and visualize them as energy levels. Blue, no energy. Green, appropriate energy. Yellow, too much energy. Red, out of control energy. Keep solutions simple. Blue, rest rest or activity to increase heart rate. Green, continue. Yellow, activity to slow heart rate. Red, get away from stimuli. It's magic. Hold an ice cube during an anxiety attack. It's weird, but it helps. What is the worst cartoon ever? Oh god, I mean, there's a lot to pick from. Family Guy. While I don't really like it anymore, the early seasons were good. Grape Ape, or honestly anything with Hanna-Barbera when you compare it to the original Warner Bros. Looney Tunes. People will disagree with me because they grew up with it, but it honestly doesn't hold a candle to cartoons my parents grew up with. Some of the Oscar-nominated animated shorts. A film about how you didn't have a good relationship with your dead father, but drawn in colored pencils, and you beat out Pixar? Not entirely sure what you're talking about, but that does sound interesting. Except for a couple of funny lines and half moments, Ren and Stimpy was absolutely god-awful, as was Beavis and Butthead, except for there were no funny bits in B&B. I haven't watched Ren and Stimpy in a long time, but I guess I could see that, yeah. Family Guy. And it feels like it keeps on getting worse. They're desperately trying to be Simpsons and fall short every time. The characters are annoying and despicable. The humor is basically all our jokes, which are not funny at all. It's just all around a bad show that somehow is popular. Yeah, this makes me realize I'm extremely out of touch on Family Guy. The Lord of the Rings animated movie is so effing in the funniest way possible. The animation is either incredibly jerky or incredibly static, and they don't even finish the movie properly. It's just so You know what it is. SpongeBob, whatever the hell his name is. SpongeBob sponges as I call him. You have to know when something is suffering and time to let go, and that would also mean letting Nickelodeon go. Nothing stays or lasts forever. What did SpongeBob do to you? Like, you're really mad at him. Daria. I hear it's kind of a cult classic amongst like smaller groups, but I have no idea what the show's about. Rick and Morty. It does have some funny jokes, but yikes, yikes, yikes. How the F has no one said Big Mouth yet? Yeah, I'm a little shocked at all of you. Why? What is your favorite obscure mythical creature and or animal? I love the Palrai Yuck, a two-headed, three-bodied creature of indigenous legend said to lurk in the shallows and destroy fishing boats. I can already tell I'm gonna butcher all of these creatures' names. There is this mythological creature in Japan called the Iten Mamen, which is a sentient piece of cloth that flies around trying to smother people. I find this one super interesting because it seems like such an innocuous thing, but also very deadly. Selkies are one of my fave, less obscure fellows, but they're not mentioned much in media outside of like a movie, Song of the Sea, and an obscure horror video game. I've also been fond of Skogsra and Huldra. I like the whole normal-looking human but has a literal hollow back like a hole in a tree concept. Bonus, one of my favorite actual obscure living animal that's very much so real is the marbled polecat. They look like they should be a myth. The Lox, a malevolent fire spirit based on a wolverine. The Mare, a little creature that rides on your chest when you sleep and gives you nightmares. It's like if Danny DeVito was your personal demon. I mean, that doesn't sound horrible, I guess minus the nightmares. There's a variant of the werewolf you'll only find in Scotland called the Wolver. Unlike other reported legends of the creature, it's not violent. In fact, it will go out fishing and will give some of its catch to the needy. The rare Esquilax, a horse with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit. Oh, got it, so it's a rabbit. Never personally met someone who has heard of the Hippolectrion. As a chicken lover, it completes me. Oh my god, I love this. They are magnificent. Oh my god, what are you talking about? It's so obscure. I forgot. Hashakusama, 8-foot-tall woman ghost that goes po 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 po. It will track you until you leave the country. Resident Evil Village takes inspiration. I think I've heard of that one, but I'm not like super familiar with a lot of folklore. The Flying I don't give those. Kirin, it's a Japanese dragon horse. Not to be confused with Kilin, a Chinese dragon horse, but weirder. And as usual, I have no clue if I said it right, so oops. What was the best N64 game? It's Mario 64, but Diddy Kong Racing will always be number one in my heart. Zelda Ocarina of Time. You forgot The Legend of... Fake fan, am I right? Perfect Dark. It's weird, I know about the game, I don't think I've ever seen footage of it. Call me superficial, but Super Mario 64 and Star Fox 64. Banjo-Kazooie. One of these days I'll actually play Banjo-Kazooie, but I played the clone Conker's Bad Verde. GoldenEye. As janky as it is by today's standards, it's still kind of a fun multiplayer. Mario Kart 64. Unpopular opinion, Diddy Kong Racing was better. I believe you. Super Smash Bros. X. It had flaws, but it led to Melee, the greatest fighting game ever. There's probably some debate if Melee is the greatest, but it is good. Paper Mario. Took way too long to find the actual correct answer. It stands the test of time better than the others two. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I always forget that came out on N64, my lord. What do you say 1,000 times a day in your job? Probably something like, ugh, I can't believe I'm still doing this. You're still on mute. In today's corporate office, I imagine that is pretty common. Sounds good. Same. And it rarely actually sounds good. Take a right at this corner, left, then straight down the long hallway, then right. I'm guessing that's how to get to the toilets. Nope, patient rooms. I work in a medical rehab hospital. Oh, well, at least that's more interesting than bathrooms. No worries. When really, I am worrying about how I'm going to accomplish everything in 7.6 hours. Hey y'all, my name is Tony. I'll be taking care of y'all tonight. Shall I start you off with 2 waters? I imagine the waters question kind of varies depending on the table. I hate this place. You and me both, sister. Rubs temples. Sighs. Yeah, I mean, that's all you can really do. Honey mustard, ranch, barbecue, or sweet and sour. Chick-fil-A. I mean, that could be McDonald's also. Wait, let me check. This could be a lot of different jobs. Heard. Thankfully, I don't have to do this anymore, but at Jimmy John's, they did want me to do that, which nobody did. Is it 5 o'clock yet? Now that's the only good question to be asking when at work. What's the saddest song y'all have heard? He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones. I Can't Make You Love Me by Bonnie Raitt. Streets of Philadelphia by Bruce Springsteen. I'm not a huge Springsteen fan, but this one, especially if you've seen the movie, gets me every time. Whiskey Lullaby. Okay, who's it by? Remember Me from Coco reminds me of my grandpa. Bro, I always tear up to this song. Surprisingly, it does actually hit my heartstrings, and that takes a lot. Asleep by the Smiths. I love the Smiths. Fleetwood Mac, Landslide. That song hurts me because I listened to it a lot when I was like under the age of 10, and it's just, it formed something in my brain. Adam Song by Blink-182. Edit. I should add, the video is particularly difficult when you see the pictures of them as kids. Every person, effed up or not, was once a little kid. Innocent. Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Mad World by Gary Jules. Always hits me like a ton of bricks. Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton. About the death of his son. Oh, I didn't actually know that. Send in the Clowns by Judy Collins. What is the greatest TV series of all time? The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. Definitely hard to hate, so you're close. Taking into account context/era, I'm going to suggest MASH. I don't think you could pay me to watch MASH. Band of Brothers. I don't think you could pay me to watch Band of Brothers. The Americans. Shocked it hasn't been listed here yet. The slow exploration of the emotional toll of long-term spies raising children and maintaining a marriage is masterful. Okay, but we could also just watch Spy Family. Where's my anime boys at? Chernobyl. I've been told by everyone it's such a good show, so at some point when I have HBO, I'll watch it. Whose Line Is It Anyway? US version. I don't think we've seen or will ever see another improv show the same level as Whose Line. Not the best TV series of all time, but the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development are up there with the best 3 seasons of any of the shows mentioned here. Sopranos. No, I haven't watched it, and to my friend who really wants me to watch The Sopranos, I'll get to it, alright? Futurama. Good news, everyone! Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is the greatest show of all time, and Better Call Saul is even better. Technically, it's going to have to be The Simpsons. What's the technicality here? That it's been running for a long time, or what's up with that? What's the best name for a pet chicken? Henrietta. I like where your head's at. Cluck Kent. Alright, that's passable. My wife had one named Chickie Minaj. Oh, that's just perfect. Okay, love it. Hennifer. A little on the lazy side. Hey, you took that from Moana, didn't you? My dad had a chicken named Little Jerry Seinfeld. That one's acceptable, I'll let it pass. Emergency ration. Well, hopefully you don't call it to its face, otherwise it might get upset. Eglinor Roostervelt. There was some work put in there, that's good. Nugget. Perfect. Beautiful name. Hen Solo. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I'll let it slide. Just give it a normal name, like Amanda or something. Just chiming in to say I have a chicken named Janet Janet. And we love you, Janet. If you became a ghost, what is the first thing you would do? Just be a general nuisance towards those I dislike. I wouldn't do anything violent or overly mean, but I'd definitely be annoying. Everest won't be cold and probably have a bunch of company. That would make a great movie. Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. Do some with Clay with my bae. Ah, you're going for the good old classic Pat Swayze ghost. I got it. See where I can go and look for other ghosts. That does beg the question, if you're a ghost, can you see other ghosts, or are they also invisible? Ghosts can fly, so maybe I'd try going to outer space. It would take a really long time, but that's nothing compared to eternity. Haunt the people that deserve it, as you should. I would use my powers of invisibility to find the worst people around and haunt them. Never let them sleep. Let them live in fear. Drive them insane. I ghost my friends and family every day. Well, your ghost adventures sound boring. Mess with people, but in a helpful way. Like organize their books or something, or clean their house. Marie Kondo them. Oh, she's a organizing consultant? I'm not sure what that is, but cool. I would try to show myself and prove my existence to scientists. Like walk into NASA, MIT, Lockheed type places and just make my strongest effort to be proven. Heading to Area 51. Ooh, that's actually, I wouldn't have thought of that. Thank you. What was the longest 5 minutes you had to endure? Trying to get my dog to lay down so she wouldn't fall over when being put down. She didn't lay down, so she sat up the entire time. Although she was in pain, it seemed like she didn't want to leave us. Sometimes I feel like she's still in my house. Like her presence is just very strong. I just think that she doesn't want to let go either. IUD insertion. Not even the actual insertion, but measuring my uterus to insert the damn thing. Never have I ever been in so much pain. The conversation I had with my ex-wife following when I found out she had been cheating on me for 3 years. We had 2 children. When my mom and I couldn't find my baby sister. She was 3 at the time and nobody could find her. It felt like an eternity before we finally found her, but it was only 5 minutes. The fear made it feel like forever. Okay, but where'd you find her and how did you lose her? Ambulance ride to the hospital after a car wreck I was in with my brother. Hospital was literally less than 2 minutes away from the crash, but watching my brother have to be brought back to life made the trip seem like forever. Yeah, that's a little bit of a traumatizing moment. The last pap smear I had, I nearly puked. It hurt so bad. Holding my mom's hand as she passed away after I told the ER doctors to stop life-saving measures. Definitely a tough decision too, and especially having to just sit there, it's rough. I fell in the woods and a branch went through my hand. I was stuck to the ground until my cousin came and helped break the branch so I could walk back to camp. The 5-minute walk back to camp sucked. My cousin and I were trying to figure out how to tell my mom I had a 4-inch branch stuck completely through my hand. Oh yes, that fear of having to tell your parents you are hurt because they will be mad. Unfortunately, it happens for a lot of us. Waiting to see the results of a pregnancy test. Oh, I bet. Just having to sit there waiting until it reveals? God. A standoff that ended with me shooting someone in self-defense. For some reason, this feels like a cop answer and I don't trust you. When you are holding up a long line at the cash register because you are waiting on someone to bring you a forgotten item that they too have a hard time finding. Running a mile in PE class. I'm sorry, you have a 5-minute mile? I was doing like 11. I was horrible. What is something all kids should know by the time they are 18? Kindness and empathy. A desire to learn and grow. Decision making and how to forgive themselves if they make the wrong decisions. How to make basic meals for themselves. Laundry, basics of cleaning, hygiene, basics of taxes would have helped me a whole lot. How to change a tire in emergency, basic first aid. A lot of the basics I see, which yeah, we should all know these things, but we don't. Basics of budgeting and managing their own finances. Basic understanding of credit, how to drive, and how to read a damn clock. Oh, whatever. People can read digital clocks, that's all we have anymore anyways. How compound interest works. I don't even know that, and I'm 23. Basic hygiene. It's insanely simple. All you gotta know is PTA. Pits, tits, ass. That older people are not necessarily wiser. In the past few years, we've found out that it's absolutely not true. What was a huge trend everyone forgot about? Smelly stickers. My fave was buttered popcorn. That odd period when everything was themed around a mustache, along with keep calm and blank. I'm so glad that trend died. Crisscross and backwards pants, circa 1990. Harlem Shake, mannequin challenge. The mannequin challenge sounds so familiar, I can't imagine what it is other than you just stand stand still, fidget spinners, and the dab. I actually think I do still have a fidget spinner somewhere, and the dab does live on, only in select areas. Pet rocks. Dude made bank. When I was younger, I thought pet rocks were like, oh, they have googly eyes on them, right? No, they're just a rock in a box. Dubstep. Dubstep isn't gone, it's just no longer talked about. Now it has evolved into the genre of EDM. The challenges like Cinnamon Challenge, the Ice Bucket Challenge, Condom Challenge, etc. The Cinnamon Challenge was ridiculous. At least the Ice Bucket Challenge, the whole point was you donate to ALS research. Farmville. Thank the Lord it's gone, unless there are some old people still doing it on Facebook. Spinning rims on cars. Those were bad. Yo-yos had a big resurgence when I was a kid in the 90s. They were all the rage for like half of one school year, and then they just kind of vanished. It was fun playing with them with my dad for a while, and I did learn a few tricks. Giant wallet chains. I do actually know someone that wears a wallet chain, and I need to ask why. Pokemon Go. I know some people still play, but it was huge when it first came out. Closest we ever got to world peace. Vine. Old short video social media. Oh, come on, you don't have to explain Vine, right? Is it that old now? What are the shittiest hive mind / circle jerk examples on Reddit? r/unpopular opinion. So true. Real unpopular opinions get downvoted to hell and back, and the top posts are either something everyone agrees on or flat out bigotry. The subreddit, Am I the A-hole? A bunch of lunatics and double standards. You can always tell who's supposed to be the a-hole in however they write their title. White people Twitter / black people Twitter comes to mind. Originally, they were comedy subs with some of the most hilarious content. Now they've just evolved into political echo chambers. When you provide a source to support your argument and they downvote you to oblivion and or just ban you from the sub. We don't want actual information here. Pretty much any thread pertaining to the US on this subreddit. Reddit will ask for an opinion on something, and if your opinion doesn't align, you're downvoted, and in many cases get death threats. Every question is rhetorical, and there is a correct opinion to have. It's gaslighting. They're toxic. They're a narcissist. r/AskReddit. Daily you find questions which are nothing but thinly veiled invitations to circle jerk around a popular opinion. You can make a pretty lethal drinking game of reading comments and taking a sip every time someone mentions Trump, anything right-wing, religion, or capitalism in a negative way. You know, I did consider making a drinking game for when I record these, but I think I would die, so they would never be made. Everything on Reddit is a hive mind. I mean, you're not wrong. What's the greatest wisdom you've ever heard? The more someone tries to get you to sign something, the more you shouldn't. You're not obligated to participate in every argument you're invited to. I was going through a painful divorce from a toxic marriage. My dad, R.I.P., said, an ending in misery is better than misery without end. It made a lot of sense. Damn, your dad was spitting bars, cause that's like, ooh, that's prime. Relationships are like farts. If you have to force one, it's probably shit. If you raise your kids, you get to spoil your grandkids. If you spoil your kids, you get to raise your grandkids. Talk less, listen more. The amount of people I would love to tell this to. Be disciplined, not motivated, because motivation comes and goes. Before you go down the road of revenge, you must first dig 2 graves. Every person knows at least one thing that you don't. All I know is I know nothing. That's been my life motto for a while. If you don't enjoy practice, you'll never enjoy mastery. Huh, never really thought of it like that. A wise man speaks when he has something to say. A fool speaks when he has to say something. Done is better than perfect, as perfect is never done. What video game has the best music? Too hard to pick, but definitely Nintendo as a company. Zelda / Mario / Pokemon equals some of the most iconic and classic songs of all time. The Mega Man franchise also has countless bangers. I feel like people sleep on Mega Man. It's got some killer soundtracks. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Well, when you get actual bands for your soundtrack, yeah, of course it's gonna be good. Zelda in general. A lot of that music is burned into my brain because I'm somewhat of a Zelda boy myself. Jet Set Radio. And eventually Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Very excited for Bomb Rush. Oh, it looks so cool. Mass Effect, Halo, Fable as a franchise. I mean, Halo 3 alone? Come on. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I could gush about the orchestral soundtrack for ages. Maybe Donkey Kong Country 2 or Super Castlevania 4. My age is showing. Are you about the same age as me? Because ouch, maybe I'm old. Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim. Jeremy Soule is an ambient mastermind. Oh, just beautiful beautiful music overall. Sometimes I even use it as like background music when I read fantasy books. Animal Crossing Wild World. Animal Crossing in general has just beautiful music. Hotline Miami. I might get my gamer card revoked, but I haven't played Hotline Miami. I do know the music's good though. Doom 2016. Not Eternal, because they didn't let Mick do his job. Which singer has the most distinctive voice? Willie Nelson. Leonard Cohen. Oh boy, I'm not gonna know a lot of these people, huh? Louis Armstrong. Alright, I lied. I do know Louis. Cher. Her voice is very interesting. Macy Gray. She sounds like a cartoon duck to me. Not a fan. Shakira? Sort of. Like, I feel like I've heard some other people sound like her. You get $100 per person you annoy. What is the fastest way you can become a millionaire? Drive exactly 7 miles per hour under the speed limit back roads and freeway. Inefficient. Just park your car sideways in the middle of the freeway during rush hour. The traffic jam will be magnificent. The jail time will also not be great, but with the money, you can just bail yourself out. Start commenting on political news on Twitter. Oh yeah, you could just start trolling for either side. Right wing, left wing, who cares? Everyone's gonna get mad. Come on here and get downvoted and yelled at by Redditors all day. That'll be my new full-time job. Easy money. 3 a.m. bagpipes. I was gonna say you need to learn how to play bagpipes first, but honestly, even without knowing, you're gonna annoy people. Disconnect every Wi-Fi router in my town. I like where your head's at, but you are gonna have to sneak into people's homes, so that's a lot more work than you need. Ride the NYC subway and bring a guitar. Pro tip, you don't know how to play guitar. Walk slowly down the sidewalk in Manhattan while taking a call on speakerphone. I like where your head's at, but I also think do that in a library and that'll work much better. Alright, well, I'm getting a little sleepy, so I'm gonna head out. Thank you all once again for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. My name has been Brandon, and I will talk to you another day. Bye!